Tonight I'm going to be going over a slideshow that I used to introduce the first successful British settlements in the New World, and the note sheet that goes along with it, as well as just a Google Doc that has a reading that introduces the Crusades and their impacts, and then also has a few questions that go along with it. This is to look at the accessibility of these resources, and I'm going to be highlighting what I think we do well, the team and I do well when we developed these resources, and then things that we could improve upon in the future. Starting off, looking at the Online Accessibility Handbook, I'm very surprised that Google Slides does not have a outline view. It's not something that I really ever thought of, but as soon as I kind of looked into it for the PowerPoint version of it, I was like, wow, that is something that would definitely fall underneath the umbrella of UDL. I think everyone could benefit from being able to pull up a quick outline that gives them an overview of the slides. And the fact that Google, which I typically think does a pretty good job of trying to make things more accessible for the classroom, I was pretty surprised that it didn't have that. Now, looking at the slides as a whole, I like the aesthetic that my teammates chose to go with for the slideshow. On the other hand, though, it could be distracting. I know that Rice in Chapter 8 on page 223, when he was talking about I don't know their first name, they were talking about difficulties with attention and executive functioning. They said that students can be overstimulated because they're paying attention to everything. These colorful leaves are nice for aesthetic, but don't really add anything to the content of the slideshow or the content being taught. So I could see us taking these out just to make it a little bit more less stimulating. To start the slideshow off, we went over 2 vocab terms that we'll be using throughout the presentation and slides that we thought that they should know. I like that we have them underlined. I like the fact that we have this vocab slide to get us started. One thing to note, though, is that I think we could add in maybe an image of like something like Jamestown on a map, so that way students can start connecting, okay, Jamestown is a settlement, and then having a picture of Virginia on the map of the colonies, and they can start connecting that, okay, a colony that's, much larger, settlements are within the colony. I think having an image there, as Rice mentioned in Chapter 8, that can kind of help students with connections and representation. For when we get into the slides themselves, we do have key elements underlined and bolded for within the text. That, as Rice points out in Table 8.5 on page 225, helps with representation. And one of the things that we kind of show the students is, oh, well, look, it's underlined and bolded on the slideshow. That must be pretty important. And it actually directly ties into your note sheet. One of the other things is, when we tab through for those who are using text to speech, it does start off on the title and then it moves into the content. One of the things I actually was very surprised about, because I haven't used it in about 2 years, were these videos that were linked, because I was thinking, I don't have anything really linked on this video, so I guess that kind of checks off that aspect of the on the Online Accessibility Handbook. And when I clicked to change the order of actually one that was out of order, I found out there was videos on here, and I remembered very quickly after watching them why I don't use those videos, because it's pretty old and rather dry, to be honest. So I think I would just take those links out in the future and possibly find better videos. One of the other things that I was thinking of would be the images on the slideshow. Some are in there just for fun or just for like added connections. For example, the Bitmoji of Mr. Reitnauer drinking tea, because we're talking about merchants from London, England. It's not super important to the content, and it's pretty self-explanatory by looking at it. But if they needed a description of it, I would probably go through as directed in the Online Accessibility Handbook and add it to the alt text, and add a description of picture of cartoon Mr. Reitnauer drinking tea. Though for a picture like this, which is Pocahontas, many students probably don't even recognize that that's a picture of Pocahontas when she went to England. So for that, I'd probably add in a text box underneath it explaining this is a picture of Pocahontas. She posed for when she went to England with John Rolfe. Links. I think I got everything I kind of wanted to go over for the slideshow. For the note sheet that goes along with it, we did have a table that when checking the accessibility for the text to speech, it seemed to work pretty well as far as going from left to right. Another part of representation, bringing attention to key elements. We have who, the where, the why, the when, all bolded to kind of make sure students are making that connection to the key points, like why are we filling in these notes. And I do also have a modified version of this where students are just filling in the blanks. And these blanks are just key terms, the really important parts of each section of the notes. So that way, if they're struggling with their typing speed, or I'd rather them just be paying more attention to the words than focusing on getting down, especially some of the longer notes, like down here in the corner. This could make it. This would be like a tier 1 intervention as outlined by Rice in chapter 8. For the Crusades reading for the Google Doc itself, I did have to change this up here to a heading, to a title, and then these to the headings. That was something that I just changed real quickly because I was thinking about it. For the questions, we used a different color, not bright red, but a red nonetheless, to kind of bring attention to, okay, so the black text is your reading, and the red text is the questions. Having that contrast, we felt like would help students focus in on, when to be reading and when to be thinking, or going back and reviewing, looking for answers in the reading. For the pictures, there's no descriptions, either through the alt text nor below. I think we should add in text explaining what this map is of for going forwards, because it's just for some students they're probably just gonna skip it over and not even really notice that it was a map, especially since this is an assignment that we would have the students do independently. So we should probably add a description underneath here of what this map is about. For the link, we have a link down here for what is a crusade, in case they, if they need that for number 6. And I would probably want to change that from just crusades and hyperlink to describing that describes the destination of the link. So instead of just having crusades, maybe next to it in parentheses say link to dictionary.com's definition of a crusader. Finally, we did get this reading from another teacher's website, and it actually wasn't hyperlinked off the bat, so I just quickly added the hyperlink, and then I realized that probably should put a better description in for this hyperlink. And when I did click on the website, I suddenly remembered, I want to show this. I remembered why we didn't have them go to this website, because the reading is great, but there's a lot of ads and a lot of distractions. So if we're going back to Rice's, bring attention to the difficulties with attention, I'm distracted by this. So that is why we did pull the reading, also to embed the questions, but that's one of the reasons why we pulled reading into a Google Doc. Overall, I think, it's a good starting point for what we did, but I think some of the things we can definitely change to make it more accessible, not just for students who may have IEPs or 504 plans, but really to hit that UDL element where some of these changes, like description, like describing what this painting is, that can benefit everyone. So, thank you for following along, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.